Don't you think it's crazy how you're governing 50 trillion cells right now? And they religiously obey every single thought command that you give them? There's a whole world in there. There's a whole 50 trillion living beings working together. There's a whole universe in your body. And you're commanding it. You're the ruler of it. Insane. So when you're horny, you're a horn. Horn, which is the goat. People always say to me, oh, you're making stuff up again with the words, etymology, do this in French, Spanish, it doesn't mean the same thing. When you study etymology and you study these words, they reveal a lot about human consciousness, because the words in English, specifically English, are encrypted with occult meaning. Religion was made to keep you in a slave mindset. The slave mindset is God created the world thousands of years ago, and now he created you just to experience the world. The truth they don't want you to know is that God, or the source, didn't create the world thousands of years ago. It's creating all of reality in the universe in the present tense, in this very moment. They want you to believe God created it thousands of years ago, so you become an observer, so you do not actively, consciously create your reality. The truth is, you are a co-creator with the source, and us as a collective consciousness are creating and unfolding this creation in this present tense. Present moment is your present, your gift of creation you create with your thought, emotion, and action. The elites know this. This is why they have to mass manipulate the people's minds so they can steer this creation into their agenda. The truth is, it's all a mental game. Let's expose the Freemasons. This eye is not what you think. The eye is an organ that requires light in order to visibly see, which is a metaphor for your mind. The mind requires light, which is knowledge, in order for your mind to see the world clearly. The eye is placed above everything else, symbolizing we're chasing a higher sight, a higher perception of the self and the world. Eye is not closed, it's open, meaning it's looking, which is an allegory of staying conscious, being aware. In the triangle, it represents staying conscious over your thought, emotion, and action, because these are the three forces that generate your reality. Most people think, feel, and act unconsciously, unknowingly creating their reality. The light rays descending down from the eye symbolize the mind descending thought into the lower planes of existence, into the physical plane. In a negative context, this symbol can also represent surveillance and control over others. You need to prepare for life after death. The Egyptians tell you this. Anubis is the god of death, or the underworld. He's telling you, before you die, your heart needs to be as light as a feather. The heart is emotion and love. If you love sex and materialism, then your heart will be heavy, not light. And when you're in the spirit realm, you will still desire the material things. You will not be able to fulfill them. Therefore, you will desire to come back to the physical earth. This is an instruction to remove all desire for material things and free your consciousness from any attachments and addictions, and then your soul will ascend to a higher astral realm. Even Jesus told you this. For what shall it profit a man if he gains the world but loses his own soul? Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. So the elites have made people Satanists without even knowing. This is how crazy the world has got. And this is why we need to understand symbolism, because most people are walking around and they are in fact satanic without even realizing. They make you believe that Satanism is a religion when it's not. It's not the worship of Satan. Satanism is a state of consciousness, which is exactly what the skull and bones means. If we look at the skull and bones, we have a skull, which encloses the brain. The brain is intelligence. The mind, thinking, thought. Then we have bones, which are the limbs for the arms and legs, which take action. So this is a symbol of thinking and acting, the mind and the body. Thought and action. But notice it's grey. Grey has no emotion. There is no emotional symbolism here. We are mental, physical, and emotional. But there is no emotion. Why? Because emotion is empathy, love, care. The emotion tells you what is right and wrong at all times. So a Satanist is someone who thinks and acts without connection to the feminine forces of consciousness, such as emotion. We're meant to think, feel, and then act. If we think of stealing an old lady's purse and we feel in our heart that it's wrong, then we should not take the action. But a Satanist is a person who goes against the love of the heart. That is a Satanist, and most people are Satanists without even realizing. It's all an illusion. If you believe the earth is a globe, then you are lost in the matrix and have fell for their programming. How can the sun have a radius of 432,000 miles, yet every sunset and every midday, the sun's size changes dramatically? If the sun was truly that large, then it would not change so dramatically. Sun is a local entity, and this is exactly how it works. North is the center of the Earth. This is the most magnetic point of the Earth's electromagnetic field. This is why we called it the North Pole, because it is literally a pole of electromagnetic energy. The sun and the moon rotate around the magnetic North Pole. All compasses point to the most magnetic point. South is anywhere out from the center. East is right turning around the center. If I am here and I go east, I would end up in the exact same position. West is the opposite. It is left around the center. If I am here and I go west, I would do a full circle and end up in the same position. Now this is how we have the 4 seasons. There are 3 tropics: the Tropic of Capricorn, the Equator, the middle line, and the Tropic of Cancer. The sun does a big spiral and then spirals in towards the center and then spirals back out to do another big spiral. For example, the Tropic of Cancer is the northern people in the northern lands. When the sun is in the small ring, this is now the summertime for the northern people. Then it will slowly spiral out to the equator, which is Libra. Then it will spiral out to the Tropic of Capricorn. This is now the winter time when the sun is in this spiral for the northern people. Then it will spiral back into the equator and spiral back into Cancer, creating the summertime again. And it will just repeat this big spiral and small spiral. The sun does not truly set. It moves across a flat plane and only sets due to your human vision and perspective. It's shocking when you figure out that the Anunnaki did not change our DNA, did not create the world to create human slaves, and it's something much more shocking, okay? So when we look at the Anunnaki as an allegory or a myth or a symbol, it reveals something powerful about yourself. So let's have a look at the story of the Anunnaki. Anu, Na, and Ki. Anu is the supreme god of the sky in Mesopotamian mythology, okay? And was seen by the Sumerians the living essence of the heavens, the sky, the infinite. The heavens is symbolic of spirit. All of the bodies of the planets are spiritual forces that give life to the physical world, okay? Then we have Ki. Ki was the goddess of the earth, known as Antu to the Akkadians and Urus as the Babylonians, okay? So Anu was the god of the sky, and he descended down to the earth and married the goddess Ki. And this is how we get the word Anunnaki. So we're looking at spirit and matter, Anu and Ki, infusing together to create the Anunnaki, which is you. You are an incarnation of pure spirit, pure consciousness, made manifest in a physical form. This is also the story of Lucifer. This is also the story of Jesus descending from heaven. It's a story about you. You are the Anunnaki God. You are the God of the heaven. You just have to find the spirit, the flame within, and free your soul from this plane. It's quite terrifying when you discover 90% of people on the earth have sold their soul. There is no demon, no devil, no Satan to sell your soul to. the way it works is actually quite shocking, okay? And you may have even sold your soul unconsciously. So the way you sell your soul is very simple. You don't give it to a demon, you don't give it to Satan, you don't give it to anything outside yourself. What your soul is the law of God. Everyone feels this law, including yourself, every single day. If you take an act, you say something negative to someone, you feel in your heart that this was wrong. Every time you think something, for example, let's say you think, I'm going to steal this old lady's purse, your heart tells you that is morally wrong. Now that is what we call natural law. Each one of us has the law of love in our hearts. As a child, we are not born racist, violent, or hatred towards others. Rather, we come into the world with unconditional love and empathy for all living beings. But it is the corruption of the mind as we grow older that we start to not follow our heart. Our heart is the law of God. So every time you take an act against this law, against the soul's law of love, you are selling your soul. So these people in the industry who are creating music, they have not sold their soul to the devil. The people in the music industry are aware that music is a form of sorcery. It is a form of mind control manipulation. It programs the mind. Depending on what they're talking about in the music, it programs the mind and conditions it to ultimately control society. They know that the things they're speaking of and promoting in the music is morally wrong. However, they are exchanging massive amounts of money off people to place this music into other people's minds. They know it's wrong, but they've gone against the soul in exchange for material things, wealth, fame, girls, whatever it is, okay? That's how we sell our soul. We sell our soul when we go against the natural law of love. And this is how we bring Christ consciousness and heaven on earth. If everyone only acted what the love of their heart is telling them to do at all times, we would give birth to heaven on earth through our actions. Peace and love, everyone. Thank you all. This method will make you very successful, so stick around. The subconscious codes are created by two ways. Number one is repetition. You've tied your shoelaces that many times, it's become a code. You do it automatically. You no longer have to use the conscious mind to think how to tie the laces. Repetitively use I am statements to recode the subconscious. Never say I will be financially free, say I am financially free. The subconscious takes everything as truth. Every bad word you say to someone else or about yourself, your subconscious codes takes this as truth. Every conscious word is molding your mind and has molded your codes. The second way is through emotion. Let's say you had a very traumatic car crash 10 years ago. You can recall this memory so vividly, like it happened 5 minutes ago. The stronger the emotion you feel, the deeper it encodes your subconscious. This is why you can recall very emotional events in your life. Use repetition and emotion to think, feel, imagine, and speak about this desired reality. This will mold your subconscious to become that code. This new code will fall into 90% of your behavior, thoughts, and actions, which will then manifest that reality. You are in hell if you don't understand that your spine is the stairway to heaven. And this is how you gain your power, by understanding that your body is a living temple of God. And when we look at the human body, we're looking at a diagram and a blueprint of the higher and lower self. The lower self exists in the organs that exist below the heart, such as the sexual organs, the digestive system, and the solar plexus, sex, food, and power. And this is what society's stuck in, sex, food, and power. But your higher self exists above the heart, love, expression, intuition, and wisdom. So the spine, when we operate life from the lower end of the spine, we only think about sex, food, and power. Then we're living in low-level pleasures. We're living in the matrix, and we're stuck on a low level of consciousness and no self-control or self-mastery. In order to reach heaven, we have to gain control over our animal instincts, which exists in the lower end of the spinal column. Head is heaven and the heel is hell, because the heels touch the physical plane and the head access to the heavens, the stars. The ground symbolizes the lower mind, the egotistical animal instincts, the low-level pleasures, and the head represents self-mastery, wisdom, intuition. Hence why your head is called a temple, because it is the temple of consciousness. So when the Freemasons show the ladder, they're symbolizing your spine. We need to no longer think with the organs that exist in the lower end of the spinal column, because your organs are organisms. They're living conscious beings, and you can think with your sexual organs, you can think with your gut, and most people are only thinking with these organs. We need to raise our thinking and our actions from the head and the heart to reach a higher consciousness and to reach self-mastery. Parents are a pair who rent. Because you don't own your child, you sign them away using a signature. You sign your nature. Your signature is a sig, which is a sigil, which is a symbol used in magic. An entrance is an entrance. To enter altered states of consciousness and higher dimensions, you have to put yourself in a trance. This is the entrance to higher dimensions. The Freemasons show an entrance to higher consciousness. Trance is when the mind is turned off, keeping your awareness in the state just between a wakefulness and a sleep. You can experience higher dimensions of consciousness. Listen rearranged is silent. The side of your head is called a temple. Your head is the temple of consciousness. The English language is filled with hidden spells. They always tell you the truth in plain sight. Dreams are other realities in the astral plane. This is why you're so tired after you release, because it's your etheric life force which you are draining. Releasing may cause you to become mineral deficient. Semen retention allows the body to recycle the minerals in the fluid to feed the body. Sex is the most powerful emotion the human can feel. The semen has the minerals to create a whole nother human being. So imagine how powerful this is when you retain it. You should only release when having a baby. Now this is where transmutation comes in. You can transmute the saved energy you saved from not releasing into critical thinking or any activity you want. You will be stronger, your energy will be through the roof, and you will attract more people. Your generative energy is the most powerful energy your body has. Do not waste it, which then allows the brain to process more information and become enlightened. You will literally become a superhuman by saving your seed. Jesus never existed. He represents a high state of consciousness which you can reach. Religion is the externalization of truth. A sin is not an action, it's an internal emotion which goes against the higher self. That's why the 7 deadly sins are emotions and internal states. These stop you from reaching your potential of Christ consciousness. Evolution is a lie. You are not a human on a planet. You are a light being. Human is hue-man. Hue is an attribute of a color, and color is a form of light. Humans are light manifested in physical form. Kirlian photography can show you this. True evolution is about your soul. Soul is in the physical world right now. When we master the body, we can then start mastering our spiritual body, ascend to higher realms of consciousness. When a baby becomes aware of the world outside of its mother, it seeks a way out and is born. As above, so below. When your soul becomes aware there are dimensions beyond the physical, it seeks a way out. You are both spiritual and material. The intellectual mind is the bridge between the spiritual self and the material self. We have a lower mind which operates and survives in the physical world, and a part of our mind that creates in the astral plane and imagination realm. We have to master the beast-like nature the material body has, and then move on to mastering the spiritual. True evolution is about your soul incarnating into this world and moving on to higher worlds. They poison your water to calcify your pineal gland, and your pineal gland is the radio antenna which connects the body to the mind. No, the mind is not the brain, and the spirit world is not out there or outside of you. The spirit world is simply the world inside the mind. You see, the mind is the bridge between the physical man and the spiritual man. The screen you use in your mind to imagine a red apple is the same dimension that feeds the physical world. Look at everything around you. Everything was imagined in the astral, the spiritual plane, then brought into physical existence. They do not want you having access to your imagination or the world inside your mind, because you are eternal there, and inside that world, you can consciously shape your reality through imagination. They don't want you using your imagination because this is the power that shapes your future. They do not want you a conscious creator. They want your mind stuck and locked in only your five senses, living in reaction and not becoming a commanding creator. Do you not realize? Do you not realize that where you are in life is a direct correlation with every thought you have thought in the past? All of your thoughts you thought in your life has led you to this very point. So what's that tell you? Your internal world is projecting your outer world. You change your thoughts, and further enough down the line, your external reality will mirror your thoughts. Change your mind, people. Don't have back pain. You have trauma in your nervous system. Nervous system stores trauma. Every time you fall over, your body tenses up to brace for the impact. Every single tension and brace we have experienced through our lives is stored somewhere within our nervous system. If this tension is not released, it can manifest as a physical sensation such as back pain, joint aches, or even disease. This is because your body is an electrical energetic system. Before there are physical problems with your body, there are energetic problems in your field. If the energy is not flowing correctly, it will manifest in the body as a physical sensation. Matter is created by energy. Energy comes first. This is why yoga is so important. Yoga stretches out the nervous system and releases any energetic problems, allowing energy and electricity to flow freely. The church calls yoga demonic because they don't want you to understand your etheric body. You are not just a physical being. You have many different dimensions. There's so much more that goes into this. 3 things you need to know before you physically die. Number 1, you never die. You cannot escape the universe, which leads you with 2 choices in your life: the path of self-mastery or the path of living in chaos and ignorance. Both of them are difficult. You just have to choose which one. Number 2, imagination is your biggest power. The physical world is a dimension. The imagination is the dimension that sits just above the physical world. Look around you. Every object you see was imagined, pulled out of that imaginative astral plane, and then manifested into the physical plane. The physical plane is the effect. You have to gain a strong imagination in order to see in the astral plane. That is your spirit vision. Number 3, you cannot fulfill physical desires in the astral plane when you die, which means you cannot have sex, cigarettes, or anything you're addicted to in the physical world, such as your phone. In that plane, you will not be able to fulfill that desire, which means if you do not remove all of the external addictions and master yourself before you die, you will suffer in the astral plane because you cannot fulfill physical desires. This is why in spiritual traditions it teaches you must be reborn again. You have to sacrifice all the material things to walk the spiritual path of self-mastery to reach a higher state of consciousness. And to give you one more, you are always conscious in them planes, which means here in the physical world you can go asleep and go unconscious. In the astral plane you are conscious all the time for eternity, okay? Which means you have to gain control of yourself. If you have no control over your thought, emotion, and action, you will create horrible imaginations in that dimension of imagination. So you cannot just escape things in that dimension. You have to face your mind. You have to gain full control. You will be conscious all the time. It's okay. You don't have to believe me. I'm just simply giving you my research and direct knowledge with these planes in occult studies. The Garden of Eden is a story about you. Genesis is the start of your incarnation. It's about your fall from unity into duality. As a child, you were holistic. You expressed yourself freely without fear or shame, without suppressing parts of yourself to please society and fit in. You only took action on what was feeling right in your heart. You would never hurt, kill, or steal from anyone. You had no self-identity. You had no ego. You saw your parents as an extension of yourself. You were not separate. You were one with the world and nature. This is Eden, the true state of consciousness. consciousness. As you grew older, you transformed, symbolized by the snake. The snake is a symbol of transformation because it sheds its skin. In early childhood, you saw the world through the right hemisphere of your brain. Holistically, Eve represents this feminine brain, right hemisphere. Eating the fruit symbolizes destruction. Eating is a destructive process. This represents a shift and a transform in Adam and Eve's consciousness, which is you. The left hemisphere of the brain rose in influence. It separates, analyzes, builds identity. This shift corresponds to Eve's encounter with the serpent and eating the apple. Adam and Eve then realize they are naked. Nakedness symbolizes self-identity. They become self-aware and conscious. As you grew older, you too became conscious. You formed an ego, aware of conditioning. You became aware of society and conditions. You start to suppress aspects of yourself to fit in. You start to wear this ego and this mask to encounter the world. This is when your consciousness becomes divided and you become aware of good and evil as you were unified before. This is the fall of every human that joins Earth. It's a psychological transformation that we all go through, from unity into a divided self of adulthood. The path now is to return back to Eden, which is even, back to unity, beyond the ego and transcend division, to rediscover unity consciousness.